Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Today we're going to be speaking about Graeme Smith's press conference. He gave an interesting press conference about 29 minutes long, 28 minutes long, talking about everything that's happening in South African cricket and basically catching up everybody on what the way forward is for cricket South Africa, and particularly from the cricket perspective. He didn't want to comment on the political side of things and the off-field drama when it comes to that. But he did speak about cricket going forward, and he gave us some insight into what is happening. But welcome to the show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos. Smash that like button, of course, so we can get into recommended feeds and get into all of the algorithms when it comes to YouTube, so that we can get ranked better and obviously get more people on the show. Nice to see everybody. Welcome to the show. I've seen you guys have been very active in the live chat. We're going to be waiting a little bit for Aditya to come onto the show so that he can give us some insight, because he attended the press conference. I've got a few questions from the fans, which I'll talk about right now. Harshit Singh, you've asked me to look at your 11s. I'll put them up on the screen and analyze them now. For the Test 11, I'm taking that this is for the West Indies, with the 2 tests and 5 T20s being confirmed by Graeme Smith that that is what they want, but they haven't confirmed the tour itself, saying that, of course, they need to sort out all the medical stuff and all those issues first and make sure that all the quarantines are in place and all of those things before they get things in place. But I'm going to look at your team right now and I'll have a look. I'm going to bring Aditya on the show so he can also have a look. Aditya, welcome to the stream. I'm just, while I'm waiting for you, I just thought I'll just have a look at Mashid's team. He's asked us to look at it, so I said, let's have a look. Algo, Makram, Hamza, Keegan, Rasi, Temba, Verena, Maharaj, KG, Nokia, and Giri. I love it. Try this 11 transformation targets met. If only Hamza and Keegan perform well, then it's good. And I think this is a very good lineup. I mean, I think Hamza deserves another chance. I definitely do think that. And I'm actually quite happy with this team. I think it's a very talented team. Who is missing is the question. Maybe
Quinton de Kock.
Linda. Oh, Quinton de Kock's missing. Yeah. Oh no, but okay, I understand maybe why. Seeing that's in the West Indies, maybe they want to give him a rest. You can maybe explain that, Ashit, why Quinton is missing in this particular team. But I do like this team, and I think going forward, this is excellent for the development. What is your thoughts on this Test 11?
I like it. I'd probably change batting positions a little bit. Because I think it's a bit top order heavy. Rasi needs to be batting at 3 and Temba shouldn't be batting at 6, to be honest. I think Temba has spent far too much time rescuing South Africa, and he needs that opportunity to bat higher up the order and score hundreds. That's what the team needs from him, and that's what he needs to expect from himself. Because what we've been saying up until this point is that he's been batting so low down the order, and the tail hasn't been performing as it is, and so he's been the guy who's been not out for quite a while, certainly in the last series. So I would like to see Temba bat up the order.
Okay, he's given our other teams as well, but I think I'm going to keep them for another time. Can you just remember them, please, Ashit, and then post them in the other group, because we don't have much time for us to go through the press conference. There's quite a lot for us to get through. So we can let's start off by talking about that. And the first comment I want to talk about when it comes to Graeme Smith is Graeme Smith spoke about having a positive way of thinking going forward, which I expected. A diplomatic answer when it came to that, and I expected that from him. Not to get involved with the political questions. He doesn't like those type of dramas and criticisms, so he didn't get involved with that. So I understand. I understand that. Let's talk about the tour. So there's certain protocols that need to happen. There's certain things that need to happen when it comes to the organizing the COVID regulations, all of those things. I haven't actually checked what is happening in the West Indies when it comes to COVID. I need to maybe have a look and research. I don't know if you've done that, Aditya. Have you checked the numbers in West Indies?
Not quite.
No. Yeah. So we must maybe have a look at that at some time and maybe talk about it in the next show, maybe tomorrow. But ultimately, he said that they were in the talks for 2 tests and 5 T20s, and he also mentioned that they will be flying from there straight to Ireland and not coming back to South Africa first, which was a very a very important factor when it comes to that. So it's a straight fly from there to. So most likely the squad that you see in West Indies will most likely be the squad in Ireland. That's what I'm taking from that.
Well, what he actually said was that it's not about coming back to South Africa, but it's that the team that will be selected for Ireland will fly along with the West Indies teams as well,
Okay.
because it's
So one
because they can't.
quarantine, one bio bubble, straight from the one to the next. I understand the thought process behind it as well.
So the point is that they're sending a full squad, like a full T20 squad, to the West Indies that will then go to Ireland, because they can't have like a half and half process, that they can't have people enter the bio bubble after coming from South Africa, because South Africa apparently is on some sort of red list issued by the Irish authorities.
So I do understand that, but that also gives us some insight into their thinking with regards to the T20 team. So we most likely won't be seeing a team that we thought would be like a secondary team or second string team like we saw against Pakistan. They're most likely going to pick their best team when it's going to Ireland. So that's why they think in that process, because otherwise it could have been straight from South Africa too. But you're saying that because they're a red flag, they probably won't be able to fly them up from South Africa. Yeah. Okay, that makes total sense. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. Okay, that's awesome. What else did he speak about? Because I know the next thing that I would really want you to talk about over here is probably because we know the factors that he spoke about when he's saying giving them credit, obviously, for the BSEs that we've had in South Africa and all of that with regards to Australia coming and cancelling. That wasn't really interesting for me. But I think the most interesting part of this press conference was the Chris Morris, AB de Villiers, Imran Tahir question. And the Chris Morris question was asked twice. But just fill us in what he had to say about Chris, because it looks like there's a little bit of something happening there between Graeme and Chris Morris.
First off, to the viewers, Graeme Smith, he came across as a liberated man today. A lot of the burden that he might have carried from a lot of the mess that Cricket South Africa was in previously, he seems to be a bit more relieved, and that showed today. He was a bit more jovial and chatty before the press conference started, and then that mood sort of carried on. And he really pulled punches. He was talking about Chris Morris, and later on about the double standard of England and Australian players, for them to refuse touring South Africa but then going to India. But anyway, since you talk about Chris Morris, it appears as if there's a little bit of tension, because the messaging is different with what Cricket South Africa is saying and what Chris Morris is saying. Because in a previous press conference that I'd attended, that Chris Morris was giving, he said that he wasn't approached by Cricket South Africa to potentially play the World T20. Whereas
was that the Titans one?
Yeah. I think in exact words he said something like, we keep saying that someone will come, but no one has come. Those were his words in reality. And Graeme Smith acknowledged that he had read and seen some of Chris Morris's press conferences, but he was a bit confused with Morris's response, because Morris was a part of the Cricket South Africa high performance structure in that part of the season, and Chris Morris, he participated, he played for the Titans and so on, and Smith also acknowledged that Chris Morris had done well in the IPL. So he found it a bit strange. So I honestly don't know what the lack of communication is between these two parties, or if there's a problem. But I guess only time will tell, and it's up to the selectors, I guess, to determine that, because that's a very important position, that number 7.
Yeah. And not only that, it's like we can see how they value him, because I would say that Chris Morris and AB de Villiers are having a similar type of IPL when it comes to performances. If you look at the results and the wickets that Chris Morris has been taking, there's been also a quick fire from him as an all-rounder in his position. I think he's been having a similar type of performance level than than AB, who's had a good score, bad score, good score, bad score. Like that's AB's run so far throughout the tournament. So I would think that for their teams, they've been doing a similar job for their teams from an importance perspective. Whereas Faf, for example, has overperformed almost. He's like showed his class in a whole different way. So I think from that perspective, at the end of the day, Boucher needs to speak who he trusts and who he wants to see in the team. And I think that maybe Boucher hasn't maybe been so clear with Graeme, and I'm just speculating over here. Maybe he hasn't been clear with Graeme on the fact that Chris Morris is who he wants. But Chris Morris should actually come forward and say, "Look, yeah, I want to play for South Africa. I know that is Imran Tahir's task. If I speak to Imran Tahir, I'm sure that he'll tell me that he wants to play for South Africa because that's just the man I know. From interviewing him, from meeting him, from talking to him, he comes across as a very patriotic guy when it comes to South African cricket, and because he really appreciates what South Africa has done for him. That man wears South African badge on his sleeve. So, funny enough, he never really spoke about Imran specifically, which upset me a bit. He said that free agents, he spoke generally. He spoke about free agents, that they are free agents at the moment, and it will work differently for them than it would work for AB, who is retired. That's what he's been saying. And that irritated me a bit because I think that Imran Tahir is excellent, and he's been excellent for South Africa. So the fact that nobody's actually mentioned his name, like I know the approach, and maybe I'm being a bit finicky or picky or finicky when it comes to this, but like I would like to hear about you actually say, look here, Imran Tahir is X or he's not X. But it's like they don't even utter his name, which bothers me. We hear AB's name in press conferences, etc., but we don't hear others speak about it. So that's that obviously out of the way. We're gonna have to wait and see what they do with regards to those players, those three players that they actually mentioned. There weren't any, I think, hard-hitting questions asked in the press conference necessarily, that I think that really tested Graeme Smith. I think that the questions that were asked, we could basically predict what the answers would be, I feel, a lot of them. Okay, I didn't expect him to speak about Chris Morris so openly. That is one thing that I have to admit. But other than that, in the rest of the press conference, it was pretty much straightforward. Is there anything else that for you that you think that really stood out for you other than the stuff that we've mentioned today?
Yeah, definitely. Certain things about how successful cricket South Africa have been in having 16 to 17 bio-bubbles, and the fact that when the Pakistani group was asked for feedback regarding their bio-bubble experience, they said that it was the best that they'd experienced, which I think is credit to Cricket South Africa. But other than that, I love the jibe at the English and Australian players who didn't want to tour South Africa but were happy to go to the IPL when India was obviously ravaged by COVID-19 cases. So he used the word double standard there, which it's quite undiplomatic of him, but it was refreshingly honest. So yeah, I thought that to me was quite standout, and the fact that they're having a few conversations with Cricket Australia to be able to reschedule that tour that was cancelled earlier this year. So I thought those were a couple of standout moments, and overall it was good. It was a good press conference.
He also commended IPL for how quickly they've taken people out of the country, or not though, or away from the situation. You sent me a screenshot today about the Mumbai Indians. I thought that I was like, I would like to be a Mumbai Indians player. They all go to the Maldives to go do their quarantine, so that's an excellent way to self-quarantine. That's excellent from their part. So well done to the Mumbai Indians for doing that.
I was also going to mention the Chennai Super Kings real quick, because in the Chennai Super Kings squad, the batting coach Michael Hussey, the bowling coach Lakshmipati Balaji, and the driver of their bus tested positive. And so obviously they were making plans. Once everyone tested positive, they were making plans to help them get back to their home countries. And MS Dhoni cancelled his ticket home, and he stayed in Delhi, and I believe he is still in Delhi, ensuring that all the foreign players go first, then all the domestic players are able to go to their go to their hometowns. Michael Hussey and Balaji have been airlifted to Chennai, and
Yes, yes.
Dhoni is going to go back home last. So as soon as everyone else is sorted, that's when he's going to go back home, which I think is creditable to that man. No wonder
Yeah.
he's revered the way he is.
Wow, unbelievable, and especially with everything that's going down in India at the moment. My thoughts and prayers go out to all people in India at the moment for everything that's going down over there. It's horrible scenes over there. I saw a video yesterday that really disturbed me on it, and that is just the surface of things. There's a lot things. I've spoken to some people in India as well, some friends of mine that have spoken about it and how terrible it actually is. There's a lot of things that haven't been portrayed to the public. Obviously, CNN only got access to a certain hospital in a certain area and a certain amount of access to it. So there's a lot of other things happening in other cities as well. So certain prayers go out to all of you out there that support us on a regular basis and that don't. You are in my prayers. I have to, though, to end of this conversation, I have to commend Graeme Smith for coming out and giving us a press conference, because we needed some sort of hope from a cricket perspective. It was the right timing for him to do it, and that is a very good job on his part by making sure that he answers people honestly and openly, and he can only answer the questions that have been asked, and that's at the end of the day, that's how it's going to be. And I think I have to commend him at least for coming out and giving a good press conference at the time that we needed it, because a lot of people were questioning certain things about South African cricket and if there's going to be a focus on it. So I have to commend him on that as well. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. We're going to try to give you a full panel tomorrow that will be broadcasted on Facebook and on YouTube, trying to give you a perspective of the entire week if we can. And I'll try to get a full panel where we discuss different things in South African cricket. We'll think of a good topic. Myself and Aditya will rack our heads together, and we'll think about a decent topic that we can talk about as a whole panel tomorrow. I'll try to get more guys on the show so that it is more enticing and engaging. The aim of the daily podcast will be like that. We'll be doing our daily shows from Monday to Thursday. Sometimes the Thursday podcast can't happen because the Offside Maiden show. So I want to give as much attention to the Offside Maiden show and support as possible. So I want to rather do one video on that day so that you guys can support that one, because they do give amazing insight on that show too. So I want you guys to support it. They said sorry for that they couldn't make it today. The Twins are having some issues where there was a massive flood in the area where they come from. It's crazy. There's water in the street. You can actually take a boat and you can actually not sail a boat, but you can actually take a canoe down in the streets. That's how much water there was. So there's some issues over there. And some of the others were tied up today, so they couldn't bring you an Offside Maiden show, and they really apologize for that. But please support them next Thursday for the next episode. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot, Aditya, for coming on the show, and we'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show. Take care, everybody.